Hello and welcome to another Euro 2024 preview brought to you by WhoScored.com. I'm your host, Dan Worth, and I'm joined as ever by Martin Laurence. Martin, how are you today?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Looking forward to the game tonight. Well, am I looking forward to it?
Maybe.
I guess I still am looking forward to it. I am, I don't know, more optimistic about this one. I don't know why. Probably because of the sort of level of the opposition. And surely it can't get any worse, right?
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? It feels like it's the only way is up from here. Although, obviously, we've not been beaten yet, so it could obviously get a lot worse.
Yeah, in terms of performance level and excitement, I guess,
Yeah, for sure. So if you hadn't already guessed, we are here to talk about England's final group stage game against Slovenia, which is tonight. Lots has been said about England's performances so far, most of it negative. The first question I've got for you, Martin, is how bad was the Denmark game? What did you make of it?
Pretty bad. I didn't think. Obviously, the first game against Serbia was relatively uninspiring, but there were some bright moments early on, I guess, to cling to. First half an hour or so, played well, and that sort of shouldn't be forgotten, I guess. Denmark started okay. I don't think we started particularly well. It wasn't like the goal was necessarily coming. I don't think it just was one of those where. And the one thing that's sort of slightly concerning is that England's two goals have both been relatively fortunate breaks off crosses, right? Saka's deflected cross straight into Bellingham's path, and the one obviously that Kane tapped in against Denmark, even more fortuitous, where it gets two deflections. And so not that inspired. I didn't think we started the game great. We started okay, and then just got the goal and sat back again. And Denmark didn't threaten too much. Most of their chances and efforts were from distance, I guess, including the goal. Yeah. I think England have conceded maybe the lowest XG at the tournament after the first two rounds of games.
Yeah.
So that's something to cling to, I guess. But I guess that's also as a result of the fact that we are just sitting deep after we've taken the lead in games at the moment.
Yeah, that is the thing, right? Is that I was actually thinking that too. That all of the shots that they've conceded really have been from outside of the box, which you can kind of take a bit of comfort from, but I mean, not if they go in. And like that is obviously what we saw against Denmark. They score from deep, and that's rubbish. I think we conceded 16 shots, if I remember rightly, against Denmark, which is quite a lot, really, particularly for England, when you kind of would assume they would dominate. Maybe less so against Denmark than Serbia and Slovenia, but even still, that felt quite high for me. It seems like everyone is kind of on the same wavelength with changes that they suggest that Southgate should make. I don't know how many we're going to see tonight. I'm sure we will see one. I think that it seems to be that Gordon is going to play. Sorry, no, it's not Gordon, is it? It's Gallagher that's going to play in place of Trent, which is very interesting because obviously Southgate said that we've failed to replace Calvin Phillips, which, well, I mean, I want to get your thoughts on that statement alone, really, but also what changes do you foresee coming, or would you make?
I mean, first and foremost on Phillips, it's probably been taken a bit out of proportion. Obviously, he's not some world beater that should be irreplaceable, but also worth saying that he did win England's Player of the Year a few years ago, maybe it was the Euros, the last Euros year, where he obviously had a good tournament, and he did partner up well with Declan Rice, and that is partnerships all over the pitch are really important, and that's, I think, where England are struggling right now. There just doesn't seem to be like a natural understanding or link up anywhere, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get his point in that sense, but there are players, and he has had time to try players right in that position. He's sort of flitted between Henderson, obviously, who didn't take, Gallagher, and Trent obviously has been the latest sort of experiment, if you want to call it that. Trent's obviously a very different profile player. They're all different. but obviously what he said about Phillips was like they've struggled to replace his sort of work rate and the legs in midfield that enabled Rice to be less sort of less pressure on Rice to be that sort of stable number 6 type character. So I get it to an extent, but Gallagher's work rate's probably better. I'd say he's probably the best central midfielder in the Premier League in terms of his work rate and his pressing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's the sort of, it could be more effective at times and he commits fouls and gets cards every now and again, but like he's an excellent, like in terms of work rate, like that should, if that's the problem he's trying to solve and that he sees is the issue, then Gallagher's probably the right guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that is the issue. I'm not sure England are necessarily being overrun or anything like that. And while I like Conor Gallagher, I think he's a really good player and has a lot of quality. The one I'd really like to see is Adam Wharton, personally. I think he's the sort of most rounded player that we have in terms of his defensive capabilities and his passing. And again, maybe this is going to be taken the wrong way, but maybe a more natural replacement for Phillips, just in terms of all-round game. Like Phillips' passing is very good and was very highly rated, certainly at Leeds. He was a bit of a dictator of play as well as a sort of ball winner and the rest, basically. So yeah, Wharton I'd have liked to see. But yeah, I think there's plenty of players who could have dropped out, and the fact that it looks like it's only going to be one is slightly surprising to me. I thought, then I guess the ones that I would say probably should drop out are the ones that Southgate is never going to drop.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like he's ever going to drop Kyle Walker. I know he did well for the goal in a sense, but I also thought it sort of highlighted his flaws in a way as well. Like he got to the ball, rapid, brilliant, sort of anticipated that really well, got into position. There was actually a pretty safe, easy cutback to Saka on the whole time, and he didn't play it, held on to the ball, tried to get it through to Kane, which wasn't on, and somehow managed to get 2 deflections into his path. Like it was really, really lucky. I think with Trent there, and I'm banging this drum again, you naturally have that better end product. I thought Rice was awful personally against Denmark. It's the worst I've seen him play. And he was, like obviously he's come out and defended the players' performances and stuff, but I thought he just looked really lazy in his passing and stuff. Like passing behind, like he just didn't look like himself at all. And he was the one who's like, calm down, everything's fine. Like even on the pitch during the game, we'll take the point almost and move on. Which I get to an extent when you're not playing well, but if you like do what Spain did, win your first 2 games and make 10 changes, like and you're ready, you're set, and then you can learn about the players that you haven't played, because that's what Southgate needs right now. Like needs to be able to learn about the players that aren't playing. And I thought Gordon would have been a good potential solution as well, but it looks like that's not going to happen, even though it was sort of reported yesterday that he might come in.
Yeah, to be honest, I completely agree with everything you said. I'm a massive fan of Wharton. I would like to see him get a go. Not only because of his similarities with the Phillips role, but also like based on what you said about Declan Rice. Like I didn't think his passing was great in the last game, and it felt like every pass was sideways or backwards, which I know players in that position always get tainted. Well, he only passes sideways and backwards, but I don't know. It just didn't feel very inspiring. And Wharton is so good at passing. Particularly forward. You even see that in the warm-up game that he got a little cameo in. Like he was finding passes almost every time he had the ball, and forward passes too, which I think, England were really lacking against Denmark. So I would have, I'd love to see him get a go. But as we've said, it looks like Gallagher will be the choice, which I don't hate. I think is probably needed to give Trent a rest and get Gallagher in there. But another player that's come under a lot of scrutiny, particularly by Shearer and Lineker, previous England goal scorers, is Harry Kane. I mean, I actually do think he's been pretty poor, but that might just be because I have such high regard for him. But his movement in behind has been, well, I'd say almost non-existent. How big of an issue do you think that is? And obviously England do have at least two other options on the bench should they want to use them. But obviously Kane is England's main man, and Yeah, you just see the impact of him not performing at his best. What do you make of it all? Do you think it's a huge problem for England?
Yeah, no, it is a problem right now based on the lineup that Southgate's picking. I think like Kane's never run in behind. Like he has, don't get me wrong, he has done it and he can do it. Traditionally, he could do it, but he hasn't done it for a while, not often at least. But where he's excelled for England is he's had runners beyond him, and the one that springs to mind most as the sort of most effective over the years has been Raheem Sterling. That's not me sort of trying to make a call that we should have taken Raheem Sterling, because I don't think we should. But on that left-hand side, there's definitely that issue with obviously Foden, Bellingham, Kane, all trying to occupy sort of a relatively tight space. And you just get that feeling sometimes with players that the understanding just isn't there, just doesn't click for some reason. It's not to say it's either or's fault. Just sometimes players have a better natural understanding with others. And I'm just trying to rack my brain as to when Foden and Kane have linked up particularly well in an England shirt. So if Kane's done well with Sterling, Saka as well to a degree, even Grealish, I think he's like seen games where Grealish has played and he's always looking for Kane, and that combination play was quite nice. I might be wrong, but I just don't know that I've seen it with Foden and Kane. And like I said, it might just be one of those things where they're just not on the same wavelength. And like I said, it's not either or's fault, but they play very different styles, right? Foden's not used to having a striker like Kane at Man City. He's never played with a striker like Kane. He's used to having someone like Aguero previously, movement superb. Haaland's movement superb, even though he's a big sort of, he's not a target man, but he's a big striker. His movement's excellent and he makes runs in behind that you can find. And Foden really needs that, I think, to get the best out of him in terms of a creative sense. So that's why I thought Gordon might make sense, because he would be the sort of, while we're on the subject of sort of natural replacements, probably the most natural replacement for a Sterling, in that he can run in behind, gets into the box well, arrives well, cuts in as well, doesn't stay as wide as someone like Saka does. He's obviously played up front as well for Newcastle, so he's played in a more central position. So his pace with Kane dropping deep makes more sense to me right now, at least, than Foden's sort of creativity and Kane dropping deep, because you're not going to get Kane to just run in behind. It's not going to work. Like, it's not going to happen, really. And you saw when Ollie Watkins came on, within a couple of minutes, made a run in behind, Bellingham found him, and it's a decent chance against Denmark. So I think there's certain players in the team that need that movement, and it's just not coming. Yeah. So yeah, I think it is a problem at the moment in terms of the lineup that's being played, and it might click. My worry is, like I said, I don't really remember it clicking all that often with the players that are being played right now. Like Foden in major tournaments gone by is sort of underwhelmed to a degree. Like I said, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but maybe it's just not working, and you need to try something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is like quite a good opportunity to try something else, I feel like.
Yeah.
Not to, we'll come on to Slovenia in a sec, and not to downplay them at all, but like England are better than Slovenia, and this could be the perfect chance to see what Gordon can do and how he does link up with Kane, rather than, we've seen Foden like in 2 games been underwhelming. Also, like, one thing which is a bit of a jump from here, but like since the last major tournament, England have had so many. I think it was like 17 games or something to mess around with all of this stuff, to experiment with Trent in midfield. It just feels slightly annoying that they've just not nailed it, and they've not, because it also feels like the players aren't sure. Like, with all of that. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say the other thing, like that's what I was going to say about Gordon as well. Like, he's taken players, and he got quite a lot of praise for taking players based on form, young, exciting players. Gordon, Palmer, not played a minute, and it's like, if you're not going to use those players off the bench, I guarantee I would put my house on the fact that if he'd taken Grealish would have come on in both of those games.
Yeah,
he would absolutely have come on. And the fact that he's not picked Gordon and Palmer just shows maybe a little bit of a lack of faith in those players, and you've got to give them a chance, or it's pointless. You might as well have. I think he should have taken Grealish anyway, but it's a waste not taking Grealish, because he would have played. He absolutely would have played.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know, I completely agree. I haven't even brought up Cole Palmer, and I'm
I
probably
know.
not going to, but like he obviously is an amazing talent that we've got sat on the bench there, being put to no use at the moment. He would likely grab games by the scruff of the neck, but again, probably you'd have to leave someone else out for him, and I know Southgate's not keen on that because we do just have a very, very strong squad. But so yeah, 2 games in with one final game to go in the group stage, still lots of question marks around England's best 11, starting 11. So we'll see how it goes tonight, and I guess we can pick up if we do notice anything different and working, or if the Foden and Kane link up continues to struggle. But let's chat about Slovenia then for a second. This is obviously their final group game too. What do you make of their chances against England? I think well, if they beat England, they'll go through, right? So they're going to be going all guns blazing here. Obviously they can. Will they beat England? Do they have a chance, or is it kind of writings on the wall?
I don't think they will. I'd be like, it would be pretty. There'd be a huge amount of uproar, even if they got a draw here, like they have in the previous 2 games. But it's worth pointing out that they've competed really well in both of those games. I think Slovenia were sort of pinpointed as probably the sort of whipping boys of the group, for want of a better phrase.
Mm-hmm.
And you rarely get proper duds in tournaments these days. I think the gaps between the sort of elite level teams and the sort of lower level teams in tournaments is shrinking and continues to shrink. So yeah, they've competed well in both their games, and in both those games they've had spells of dominance, and that would be a concern for England. Like they're not a poor team at all. They've got bright talents in the squad. Obviously, Chesko's the one that people will have an eye on, and has come off the back of an excellent season in the Bundesliga. He looks like he has a bit of everything, really, and has looked bright at times. Hasn't obviously got the goal, but he obviously came really close in the first game, hit the post with that great effort from distance, and he does have that in his locker. And England have conceded a decent amount of shots from distance, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some chances, whether they're clear cut. I think that's the issue. But saying that, he hasn't needed clear-cut chances to score in the Bundesliga this season, so he's the threat to watch, right? And obviously they've got Oblak in goal at the other end, who's one of the better goalies at the tournament and has been one of the best, probably top 10 keepers in Europe for the last decade or so. So yeah, they've got talent at both ends of the pitch. England will hope that they don't have the sort of ability to control games that they've allowed Serbia and Denmark to do at times. And I think that will prove to be the case. I think England will fare better at controlling this game for a longer period. And it might be that scoring early wouldn't be a great thing. Like, we don't want to see England sit back. like it sounds counterintuitive, but it might be that we just need to build into the game and sort of build that momentum over a sort of sustained period, rather than play well or decently for 15, 20 minutes and then get a goal and panic.
Yeah, I would be very keen not to see that this time out, because that has been the most frustrating thing ever as an England fan. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, Slovenia are no mugs, and they do have some quality. And you talked about Chesko, then like he can hurt England if he gets the chance. Like, we've seen it in the Bundesliga all season, that he's super clinical. So if he gets a chance, like, he can definitely get on the score sheet. Not to give away some of the things I may or may not be saying in a bet builder discussion later on. But yeah, I think like Slovenia can't be written off, as we've seen from the 2 games they've already had, like 2 draws. They've probably overachieved, I'd say, with 2 points against like pre-tournament expectations. So yeah, England do need to be wary, but I'd say they probably need to focus on their own performance rather than what Slovenia can do to them, and just how they can hurt Slovenia, because we know fully well that England can hurt Slovenia if they are at their game.
I think the other important thing in here is that a point may well be enough for Slovenia. It could be enough for Slovenia to take a sort of first place spot. So they're probably more likely to play deeper and sit deeper for longer than the teams that England have played to now. So that could be an important factor in how the game pans out as well.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point, and it will be a very good point for Slovenia as well if they are to get
Yes,
one.
indeed.
Right then, that's enough of that. Let's move on to our bet builder discussions. As always, we are using Oddschecker's bet builder comparison tool to make and compare these bet builders, which allows you to look at all of the different legs that you may or may want to use and compare them with all of the best bookmakers out there. And as you will see, whilst we are doing it, it will often show up huge price discrepancies, which on their own show how important this tool is if you are placing bet builders. So, Martin, kick us off with your bet builder.
Okay, I'm going to start in the player shots market, so that's total shots rather than shots on target. I'm going with an England player. I'm going with Bukayo Saka, who has been one of the sort of brighter sparks, I guess, for England. As much as he hasn't been at his best, probably been one of England's better performances over the two games, and that's not really saying a great deal. I'm going for him to have 3 or more shots. He had 3 in the last game against Denmark. And yeah, he just frequently has that number of shots or more, essentially. So in the league last season, he had 3+ shots in 74% of his games in the Premier League for Arsenal. Nice. So that's 26 games. He had 3 or more shots out of 35 appearances. So a massive percentage that this sort of comes in, and you'd expect England to dominate, fingers crossed. My next market is going to be Benjamin Sesko, and I'm going for him to have a single shot on target, which again is something that he managed in the last game against Serbia. Like I said, he's come off the back of a really strong season with RB Leipzig. As much as he was sort of in and out of the side a bit, he's still really effective in terms of his goal output, and he averaged 1.5 shots on target per 90 last season, which is a high tally. It's among the top 10 in the Bundesliga last season for the sort of number of minutes that he played. So Sesko to have a shot on target is my second leg, and then I'm dipping back into my favourite market, which is the card market. And I am going with Adam Nezda-Cherin, which is, we tried to look up how to pronounce that.
You did well.
I'm not sure if I remembered it. But either way, he's a defensive midfielder, sits in midfield for Slovenia, plays for Panathinaikos in Greece. Doesn't get a huge amount of cards, which is probably not the thing I should be saying to tip this market up. And he's managed to avoid a card in the opening 2 games. But that's despite making more fouls than any other player from the first 2 round of fixtures. So he's committed 9 fouls without being carded, which is some going. And surely that can't go on for too much longer. He'll be coming up against that man again. Bellingham, middle of the park, Foden cutting in. So there's all the players. Kane dropping deep, all occupying that space that we discussed in the preview. So yeah, he's committed 9 fouls. If he commits another few against England, surely that card is due. So it might not be the soundest reasoning, but I'm going for he is due a card.
Yeah.
As my reasoning, basically. So that's Saka 3+ shots, Sesko shot on target, and Serin to be carded. Best odds there at 22-1. We can see that's the best price with Bet365 on that bet, and using the comparison element of the Bet Builder tool on Oddschecker, can see that's as low as 11-1 on another leading bookmaker. So double the price. So it compares to shop around. It pays to shop around, I should say, when it comes to bet builders. And luckily for you, we've taken all of the effort out of shopping around with this tool. So yeah, 22-1. That's my pick.
Very nice. Yeah, I really like that to be shown a card market. I've actually gone in there as well, but because this game has a huge potential to be really frustrating for both sides. But obviously, if Slovenia go 1 down, they're going to really need to fight to get back into the game. And yeah, as you've mentioned, Cherin, I'm not sure if that was the right way to pronounce it either, but he will be getting stuck in amongst very talented England midfield. So you could easily see him picking up a few fouls and finally getting the booking that he probably deserves to have already had at this tournament. But there we go. I'll quickly run through mine then, and I'm starting, as you can tell by my shirt, I'm starting with an England win because I think England win. I think I've said it already on this show. I think England are better than Slovenia, and
Big
I
shout.
think yeah, huge shout. And I think off the back of a sort of a poor performance and a pretty poor result, to be honest, that they'll be looking to go into the knockout rounds with a bit of a bang and create a bit of confidence. Obviously, the last two tournaments have seen that exact same pattern in the group stages of England win, England draw, England win. So I think this will follow suit and England will win. I think England win 2-0 if you really want to put me onto a specific correct score. England going to win 2-0. You heard it here first. My second leg is Chesko to score any time. So that's actually, I've just completely contradicted myself. So don't listen to a word I say because England, he's not going to score and England win 2-0 unless it's some sort of miracle. So ignore what I just said. 2-1. England are going to win 2-1. Yeah, you've kind of already done all of the rationale for me here, to be honest. But he's just a very clinical striker that's had a great season in the Bundesliga. And there's no doubt that he's Slovenia's biggest threat. So if Slovenia are to get on the score sheet, I would probably back it to be Chesko. So he is my second leg. And finally, and hopefully we're hoping that the rumours are true and that he does start, I've gone for Conor Gallagher to be carded. He committed at least 17 more fouls than any other player in the Premier League this season. He has already been booked, which I guess is a slight downside of backing him here, but it goes to show that he does get stuck in. And I think there's something to be said about a player who is being given a chance that he's going to want to grab it with both hands. So, yeah, I think he'll be in amongst it. And as I said, it has a potential to be frustrating for both sides. So if it's looking like a frustrating one for England, you can easily see Conor Gallagher yeah, as I say, getting stuck in and committing a few fouls. So I think he could be nice for a card. That comes in at 70-1 best price, which is obviously huge. My eyesight is not. Is it 25-1 down the bottom there?
25-1, and then I mean even the next closest is just under 50-1. So there's a huge difference. I guess what you said about obviously he's on a card that's probably played into the pricing a bit here. So for 70-1, I think that's massive, obviously. So
yeah,
I don't blame you.
Well, yeah, you've got to go for it. And as you say, 70-1 is massive, and the price discrepancy there is huge. So that just goes to show like why you should be using this tool if you are placing any bet builder bets for this game or any game. We have it for all of the Euro 2024 games. So go and have a little play around with it. Compare your prices of your bet builders, and I guarantee you will not be upset that you made that choice. Not really much else to say other than if you are, of course, placing any bets or bet builders, please do so responsibly. Thank you very much, Martin, for joining me once again. I hope you're not disappointed tonight. I hope I'm not disappointed tonight, and we get a good game at the very least, and a big England win would be lovely. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you later on in the tournament. Cheers.